Hi, I'm Kirsten Kiki Johnson, and I'm the current Vice President of Activities and Facilities. So you may remember me from induction talks, from our libraries campaign, for the We Want Our Wednesdays campaign, for fighting with Bucks on the GKT and medical school sports thing. And my plans for this year, if I get elected, are to improve and increase the welfare provision within the union and within the college, to provide more postgraduate support, to look at better admin, teaching, assessment and feedback for all students regardless of their course, to standardise international student fees, and to look at all-round experience, as well as the sort of community that we have across all of the campuses, including Denmark Hill. Overall, I want to empower students, and hopefully you'll think that I'm approachable. I'm definitely student-led. I really care about the student community, and with me you can get a bit of continuity, someone who has been here and sort of knows the ropes, but with a slight difference.
Hi everybody, I'm Robbie Hirst. I'm President of the KCL Economic Society, I'm Vice Chair of the Student Council, and I'm representative of the School of Social Science and Public Policy. If you vote for me, you'll be voting for a candidate who improves the everyday life of students. How am I going to do this? I'll do this by improving the Wi-Fi access. I get horribly frustrated when I'm sitting in the canteen in the Strand or in my residence and I just cannot get basic course material up. Secondly, I want lectures recorded and up online. It helps with revision, and if you happen to miss one, you shouldn't be punished for that. Thirdly, and there are many other policies, if you look at my manifesto, you'll see them all, I want better cooking facilities on campus. That way, you can cook, you can put your food in the microwave, eat hot food, and you don't have to pay a lot of money for the food that KCL provide, and also that is currently provided on KCLSU. Now, all of these come under my broad heading, extending, defending and promoting students' rights. That is an essential part of any campaign.
Hi, I'm Sebastiaan. I'm a third-year undergraduate in the Department of Political Economy. I've been leading a think tank this year. I've been one of the co-founders of the KCL Politics Society, the Careers in Public Policy Week and the MUN Society. I'm running on a fairly broad manifesto to become your next president, on the idea that the union should become more inclusive, simpler and more responsive. In practice, there's a lot of policies to bring that about, but the idea is that the union can be more inclusive if we bring about real change in bread and butter issues for students. Housing, employment, teaching quality, things that really engage students as stakeholders. I want the union to be more simple so that students can get involved more easily and they can commit and galvanize their entrepreneurship rather than to be hampered by red tape. And I want the union to be more responsive. Campuses all need to be represented. Minority groups all need to have their voice heard and taken into account in decisions of the college and the union. Why me? Very simple. I have experience, I have vision, I have determination, and I'm determined to deliver results.
For example, with our Wednesday afternoon and religious exceptions campaign, we're looking at trying to get Wednesday afternoons free from teaching for all students.
I'd like to start by saying, although I'm a first year, I actually have pretty vast experience of the union and the university. I've been heavily involved in the last 5 months.
It would seem that when you want to put things on at King's, KCLSU is trying to help out as much as possible, but it isn't necessarily always in sync with King's, or isn't necessarily always optimizing things.
I think the difference between me and the other candidates is the emphasis on everyday lives, specific things that just really annoy students, that are so easy to do, and it's ridiculous that they haven't already been emphasised on and changed.
Yes, a lot of day-to-day life things matter, and part of those are addressed by the student council at times, and part of those should be addressed by SABs. But I think if we really want to change things, not just for next year, but make sure that the next generations of students will be better off, even if they're paying £9,000, things like working more on training from within the union and provided by the university, and trying to change the way our housing advice works to make sure students don't get as often into the issues they do, really will have an effect. Not just for next year, not just for next generations of students, but hopefully for a long time to come.
I think firstly I have more of an emphasis on welfare. That would really be a huge point for me because I think it's a big gap, and that is something which is sort of included in Sebastiaan's manifesto, but it is my main priority. and I'm not sure if this is included on the others, but emphasis on Denmark Hill as well, in terms of we've got a small presence there at the moment at the IOP, but I think it's something that we can definitely increase.
I also know KCLSU gives a lot of student part-time jobs. I think it's important to keep those up, even in times when we might be facing difficulties with funding some of our facilities.
Now, we've taken some steps in terms of like going out there with the We Want Our Wednesdays board, using a library petition for the national demo. I wrote a rap, which was actually quite educational. Take a listen to it. It was actually reasonably educational. 500 hits. I was pleased.
Do you consider a career in hip hop, or?
Do you know what? It could happen, but nobody knows.
And I think the union needs to be looking at far more how it can raise money, and then use this money to start promoting, extending and defending students' rights.
So I'm more a student politician by necessity than by choice, actually, in terms that I'm not trying to overpromise and underdeliver.
Kings are suddenly starting to spend a lot of money aiming for world-class, top 5 in the UK. They need a union to match that, so they've got to increase the grant. But I think that is a real cut that none of the other candidates have mentioned a potential cut. We do need to become more efficient in some areas and cut in some areas. And obviously, there's the raising money opportunities that I brought up earlier.
Bucks is the only provider that there is nationally, and that is all we can do. So I do have a slight issue with your manifesto point there, Sebastiaan, only because it's not something that you're going to be able to deliver on, because it's gone to National Advisory Group twice. It is either do it or leave, and that's something which the teams are very aware of. They should vote for me because it's not going to take me a few months to get into it. I know the system. There's a lot that I want to do. I want to improve welfare, safety on campus, all of the things which have been coming through council. I want to build more of a sense of community and empower students.
Okay, thank you. Robbie?
I want to improve students' everyday lives by focusing on things that really frustrate them all the time. I want to promote and extend and defend student rights, and I have a vested interest in improving their rights because I'm continuing my course after I finish off.
And Seb?
I want to make sure students feel their union really is there for them, and I'll work for that with my experience, with my vision, with my determination. Read my manifesto, talk to me, I'll deliver.